The incredible sycamore trees of Africa are a beautiful, awe-inspiring testament to the Creator who crafted such a complex and wonderful ecosystem around them. One of the most significant details is the unique mutualism between the fig tree and the fig wasp, each being completely dependent on each other for life and reproduction. From the start, a fig wasp is sheltered within the seed-filled insides of the figs. The males who hatch first help the females to break through their eggshells by chewing holes into them and mating with them before they even hatch. Then the females can easily break free and start making their way out of the fig through another opening chewed through by the males. The males, however, will never leave the fig. Their life's purposes have already been completed. The females still have more to do, as they journey to find another fig tree and another fig to pollinate and prepare for the next generation of fig wasps. Upon hatching, within the fig, each one is immediately infested with parasites called nematode worms. These worms crawl into the wasp as a means of transportation into the next fig. They aren't the only parasite that will plague the generation of wasps. Some parasites are injected into the wasp eggs as a parasitoid that will take over the body of the new wasp before it is even hatched. Parasite wasps accomplish this with their extra-long, needle-like abdominal tubes that easily pierce through the outside of the fig and find a wasp within to inject. Another wasp, the banded wasp, will often come in right behind the parasite wasp, even using the same piercing to inject their eggs within those of the parasite wasp. Thus, the fig wasp faces many dangers of parasites before it has even hatched or left the fig, and they will stick with the wasp until it has found another fig in which to lay its own eggs. However, the helpless eggs inside do have one defender: ants. Ants guard the figs and will kill any parasites they come across to protect the figs. Their interest is not in saving the fig wasp, though. Rather, they reserve the figs for another insect called hildebugs. Ants and hildebugs in the nymph stage share a facultative mutualism in which the hildebugs suck and secrete a sweet dew from the figs that is eaten by the ants, and the ants likewise offer the hildebugs protection. When the fig wasps emerge, they face many other predators. The ants, who carefully defend the figs from the parasites, mistake the wasps for invaders and attack them upon their arrival. The figs and fig leaves themselves also face many hungry primary consumers. Monkeys, giraffes, elephants, birds, deer, caterpillars, and others all eat of the fig tree. But to keep from losing too many leaves and figs, the tree will fill them with a bitter, white, sappy latex that is distasteful to most of the animals. However, with every defense there seems to be some exceptions. The fig longhorn beetle can cut off the flow of the latex using its scissor-like mandibles to slice through the leaf's veins and eat of the uncirculated portions. Likewise, fig katydids avoid the latex by cutting entire leaves off from the branches on which they feed. Other insects, like the fig cicadas, tap right into the sap of the trunk, avoiding the leaves and figs altogether. For any insect to venture out, however, is to risk being the prey of a secondary consumer. Gray hornbills often build nests within the mighty trunks of the fig trees, and katydids, longhorn beetles, and cicadas are easy catches for them to feed their young. In due season, the fruit will ripen, and even those that fall will be put to good use in fertilization and distribution. Some figs will roll into the river, because sycamore twigs usually grow alongside a riverbank, and become bait for the fish, who likewise become bait for the crocodiles along the river. Any figs that evade the fish will be washed downstream and hopefully settle on fertile ground. The fig seeds that drop directly beneath the tree stand little chance of germination because of all the many land animals ready to consume them on the ground surface. Even the overripe or rotting figs have their share of insects like vinegar flies swarming about. As the cycle goes, the vinegar flies themselves are also prey of another creature like the pink mantis. Further means of seed distribution is accomplished by other primary consumers such as elephants, monkeys, birds, and giraffes. All the fig seeds they consume will be spread as far abroad as each one ventures, creating the potential for many hundreds of sycamore figs across the jungles of Africa. Every detail, from the structure of the magnificent tree itself to the vast ecosystem that revolves around it, was intentionally and masterfully created. The relationships that make the smallest of organisms essential to the very largest are amazing to observe, and as are all the predatory cycles that make our biodiverse world possible. Each aspect and journey was a wonder to learn about and broadened my understanding of just how beautifully complex the web of life can be.